I have no idea about any kind of guns. I just know that it wasn't rapid fire. It wasn't simultaneous. It was just pow, 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 one after the other. It was a big old rifle. That's all I know.
I know you didn't see his face, right?
No, I didn't see anything but his arms and the gun. And then once I seen the gun, my attention pretty much was focused on the gun the whole time.
So what did you do? Were you frozen? Or what did you do?
Yeah, I remember what was going through my head. I was just like, is this real? Is this a real gun? What is going on? Is this really happening? And then after he pulled off, several people from the businesses right next door, we all rushed over to help. Thankfully, everybody made it out. And, we opened the doors and was calling it, is everybody okay? Making sure everybody was all right and not hitting nobody laying on the floor, things like that. And there was just debris, just stuff flying on the air in the office from where he opened fire on it. And then we were just all in shock. We've been in shock all day long. Just very blessed that nobody got hurt next to us. And then there was fatalities at the Amarillo location. And, it's just crazy that happened today.
And as I said, you work at a restaurant right next door to that military recruitment center. Do they have any security there at all from the outside? Do you see any protection for the U.S. military?
Well, no. They're just in their offices doing their jobs. People come in, sign up for the military, stuff like that. There's not any kind of armed guards or anything sitting outside.
So it's just like a regular retail shop at a strip center,
yeah,
right?
It's a recruitment center. And see, what it is there's several offices lined up right next, one after the other. You have the National Guard, you have the Air Force, the Army, and the Marines, and the Navy. And I know that 3 of the separate officers were fired on. I don't know if there was any more, but I know that Air Force, Marines, and Navy, all of the doors were fired into.
Well, Gina, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, well, good luck to you. Thanks so much for sharing your eyewitness account. Gina Millay joining us from Chattanooga. Also joining us right now is Congressman Chuck Fleischman. He represents that Chattanooga district in the U.S. House of Representatives. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us. What can you tell us about this shooter, first of all, Mohammed Yusuf Abdulaziz?
Well, Wolf, I was on the House floor casting votes when I heard that there was a horrific shooting, and the news has just gotten worse and worse. All I know is that apparently it was a single shooter. We have lost 4 brave Marines. This is a tragedy. The news is starting to unfold. We're seeing great cooperation between local, state, and federal law enforcement officials. But my mood right now is one of sadness. We need to find out more about what this person was doing, why they did it, and get to the bottom of this. For something like this, Wolf, to happen right here in my hometown of Chattanooga, Tennessee, it makes me ill.
Do you have any clue? Have they given you, the authorities, the investigators, any indication what possibly could have been this shooter's motivations?
Right now, it's an investigation underway. I can tell you this. There are several people coming to Chattanooga, federal officials, state officials, and local officials, law enforcement officials, all working together that they can put this information into some discernible information. But right now, we just don't know. And I just want to ask the American people to please pray for the victims, for their families. To have something of this magnitude happen, I'm still in shock, Wolf. I see you at the airport all the time at Reagan. I was so upset at Reagan, I dropped my book. It went all over the place. I'm still in shock. I just want to try to comfort the families and the people right now, but we've got to get to the bottom of this. We've got to get to the bottom of this and make America safe again.
You think it's time to rethink security around these military facilities at these shopping centers? For example, I understand they want to make it accessible so young men and women who want to enlist in the U.S. military have an opportunity to speak to some of these recruiters, but maybe they should tighten up the security.
We're going to have to look at everything. Some of these recruiters have come to many of our events on Armed Forces Day. We know these men and women who serve our country and who take people in. There have been 2 locations, obviously, involved in Chattanooga. One is the recruiting facility behind me. There was another facility, but this is a horrible, heinous act. It cannot be tolerated. But we're going to have to take a look at security all across this nation. We live in a dangerous world. Sadly, this is not the world I grew up in. And sadly, it's the world that my children and my grandchildren will have to grow up in someday. And we have got to make America safe.
And one final question, Congressman. The authorities you've spoken to, are they absolutely certain that only one shooter was involved?
I have not heard that, so I can't confirm or deny that. I know they've identified one shooter. They've announced who that was, and they're in a full-fledged investigation. They will be thorough. You can be assured of this. I've spoken to federal officials. I've spoken to the Navy. I've spoken to law enforcement. There is an all-out push to get all the information out so that we find out what caused this, why it was caused, and I hope and pray that this never happens again anywhere in these great United States.
We'll stay in close touch with you, Congressman Chuck Fleischmann, the representative from this Chattanooga area in the United States House of Representatives. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us. And I want to point out to our viewers that Mohammed Yusuf Abdulaziz, he's now been formally identified as the shooter. The very spelling of the name, you might see it, the spelling that we're using here on CNN, you see that on your screen right now, that's the official spelling that was released by the FBI statement. So we're going to go with that spelling of Mohammed Yusuf Abdulaziz, 24 years old, now identified as the shooting, this rampage that killed 4 U.S. Marines. Much more of the breaking news coming up. We're going live to the Pentagon. They're facing some serious new questions about security at these military recruitment centers in the wake of this deadly rampage. Much more right after this.